So, ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to this special episode of the show where me and Marco Martinez, right here to your right, my left, we're going to be discussing FightersRep 13 in depth. This is a preview of FightersRep 13. The card's going down this Saturday. It's something we're very excited about. And Marco, the reason I brought you on, brother, is you've been with us for a very long time. You've been with us kind of like since the beginning of FightersRep, right? And you know, you're also media. You know, you got your own thing going on with Fight Life Nation, as we see in the tag underneath your picture there. And you know, I feel like you were kind of there at the beginning, and you're the only one besides myself, I think, who knows a lot of these fighters as well as I do. You know what I mean? So I said the perfect person to have on the show is Marco. He's been around since the growth of these guys from the very beginning.
Definitely. I think one of the most best parts about being with FightersRep for so long is I get super hyped. Like, a lot of people get hyped for the UFC. You got, like, Tony Ferguson fighting in a couple weeks, and you got Michael Chandler, and you got all these guys that everyone gets hyped for. When I see the FightersRep card, I get hyped for that.
I love to hear that, man.
What the Justin Gaethje Oliveira matchup is on the FightersRep, and I get so excited when I see these guys, these young kids ready to compete. I can't wait for the fight on Saturday.
I appreciate it, man. And Marco will be there taking photos as usual. So we appreciate you, Marco, man. You've become like an integral part of this thing. So, Marco, let's get right into it, man, because we're starting out the card on Saturday night. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Get your tickets at FightersRep.com. Join the channel if you want to watch it live and you can't come to the event on Saturday night at the Commerce Casino. But we're going to start it out hot, just like we did at the last event. The first fight on the card, Dylan Ludwig taking on Raymond Martinez at 190 pounds, Marco. These guys are still early in the game. You know, Dylan's got a couple fights under his belt, as does Raymond. But these guys, I mean, these guys bring it. These guys bring it, and there's a reason I'm putting these guys as first on the card, because I think these two are going to set it off. Kind of give me your thoughts on this fight, man. Dylan, you know, we saw him last time against Cameron Spencer, put up a hell of a fight in a loss, but put up a hell of a fight. And Raymond Martinez picked up a win in his last time out with some vicious body shots in a decision win, but he landed some vicious shots. I kind of wanted to hear what you have to say about this one.
All right, man. Let's start out real quick. I want to just mention something about Dylan Ludwig. Obviously, when you hear the last name Ludwig, I don't know if he's related to Dwayne Bang Ludwig, but he's in his corner for sure. And that kid's all action. Against Cam Spencer, I thought Cam looked really good and got the win. But Dylan looked like he put up a great fight, and I'm looking forward to him fighting someone different and seeing more from him. But, man, Raymond Martinez, this is his second fight with us, and this is the third time I've seen him. I've seen him in an MMA fight. I've seen him in a FightersRep fight. Raymond comes to fight, and I do these interviews with the fighters, make these videos, and the one thing Raymond told me twice, the last two times I talked to him, he said, hey, I don't do talking. I come to fight. And, man, to start the night off with Raymond and Dylan Ludwig, I can just see bombs being thrown. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know. I don't have a favorite in this fight. I just know this is going to be all action. I think the fans are really going to get hyped for this very first fight. They're going to enjoy it.
They're absolutely in for a treat, man. I agree with you. You know, and Dylan is related to Bang Ludwig, I believe. And he's also coming out of, you know, Bas Rutten's gym. Bas Rutten's Elite MMA's got J.J. Mortimer in his corner. Great camp. Obviously, Bas Rutten, you know, with the body shots that he teaches out there. We've seen Gabe Basso come out and finish a fight with a body shot at FightersRep, also under Bas Rutten's tutelage. And then, of course, Raymond Martinez coming out representing the EYR division of Sweet Science Boxing and MMA. That's none other but than Coach Rage, whose philosophy, as we all know, is one bell, man. Get this fight done and over with as soon as possible. So really excited about that fight. Let's move on to the next one, Marco. We've got a clash at 205 pounds between LeMans Lolo Murray out of Hard Works Fitness against Wesley Harold, a guy who's decided to step up, a guy who's training I think at least partially with the Silvas, also with Christopher the Constrictor Cruz, an MMA fighter that we've had as a champion in our past. Lamont Murray, 6'5", 4-1 in PKB. So while he has the experience, he doesn't have any amateur bouts per se, aside from these PKB bouts. They're just point fights. But Wesley Harold, he's had a couple MMA fights that, he's come up short in. But I'm hearing this kid is more of a striker than an MMA fighter. Not to sleep on this kid is what I'm hearing. And this is a fight I'm excited about. Although it is, again, a 6'5" versus a 5'9" guy, I think sometimes that could lead to a lot of interesting action in the ring.
Okay. Let's break this down real quick. I don't know much about Wesley Harold. I haven't met the young fellow. But if he's training with the Silvas and Christopher Cruz, that's a good camp to be training with. Christopher Cruz is a legit fighter. He does MMA. He's a submission specialist, but he's a good striker. He's fun to watch. Always brings the action. Obviously, the Silvas are the Silvas. I can't wait to see them in action. But Lamont Murray, I got to meet him. And the best thing about Lamont Murray is where he trains. He trains out of Hardworks Fitness. For those of you who don't know Hardworks Fitness, yes. If you don't know Hardworks Fitness, they have a fighter named Evan Bolton. He's one of the best fighters I've ever watched fight. He's exciting to watch. He has 2 wins over Wilson Ha, who I think is one of the best fighters around right now. Yeah. He also trains with Cam Spencer, who is my favorite kickboxing prospect. He's one of my favorite prospects as far as, I can't wait to see him develop. So he's coming from a great gym. I got to interview him. He had a great head on his shoulders. Lamont Murray did. He was just, he was very, he seemed very focused on his fight. His opponent changed, so that'll be interesting to see if it matters. Right. I don't really think these guys at that lower of a level care about who their opponent is. They just want to kind of display their skills. This is going to be a great fight, and I really look forward to seeing how Lamont Murray fights because he's coming out of a tremendous camp, and I just want to see this guy in action.
I look forward to it, and I look forward to see how a guy 6'5" can handle himself in the ring. Usually guys that big are not so coordinated, but as we've seen from Hardworks, they can move. And like you said, Chris Cruz in the other corner for Wesley and the Silvas potentially, and then, obviously Chris Cruz, shout out to him. He's coming off a pro win recently. So, this is a fight I'm excited about. Let's
go ahead.
Real
quick before we move on.
Sure.
Lamont Murray, he's a basketball player. He's a former pro basketball player. So it'll be interesting to see how that athleticism translates into fighting.
It may translate. I like to think that basketball players are very coordinated. I was one in a past life in high school, but enough about me. Let's move on to fight number 3 on the night. We've got Juan Banda taking on Michael Claycomb. Squirrel Muay Thai taking on the Anomaly in Claycomb Karate. Again, I love this clash of styles. We've got Cody Sessions Muay Thai, Squirrel Muay Thai, taking on the only karate fighter on the card. And, Joseph and Michael Claycomb have made karate work for them in the past at FightersRep. He's had a fight with us and came out with the win. But, Cody Sessions, as we both know, he's coaching some very tough kids. I mean, he's the guy that's partially behind David Rivera. He's also partially behind Clarence Watson. Actually, for the most part, he's the one that made Clarence Watson as far as I know. So, these are 2 very good gyms that produce very good fighters. I'm excited to see these 2 young men put themselves to the test against each other.
Man, let's talk about both these guys. First of all, Cody Sessions is an excellent coach. A lot of these coaches, when I go to do the gyms, when I go to do interviews at their gyms, they don't take this stuff as seriously as Cody did. Cody was there. He had his guys ready to be photogenic. He had them training. He had them put on a show. I was very involved in that shoot. I was excited about how these guys they interacted with me. Juan Banda, in particular, one of the things that Cody brought up is that he's lost a lot of weight. That's what he's focused on, is losing weight. And so he's coming in. This is going to be his natural weight class, more natural weight class for him. He's going to be excited to fight. I know he has something to prove. I watched him in person. I want to be fair. I thought he was a little he had worked hard that day. So in the video, I don't think our video had the best stuff. I don't think he was as energetic, but he looked very determined, and he looked like he wanted to prove something.
Well, he looked strong in that video, though. He looked like he was hitting hard. He looked
very strong. That's why I can't wait to see him. I really want to see what he looks like on fight day.
Yeah.
Because he looked, he looked. If you lose a lot of weight, we've seen guys who lost a lot of weight. Vinny Famolari lost a lot of weight before he fought Gabe Silva, and that was his big thing that he really was proud of. He was like, "Hey, I weighed I think he said 230.
Yeah.
And he got down to 168 or 165, and he was proud of that. And he came out and had a great performance. So I really want to see how Juan Banda does. And as far as Michael Claycomb, man, that guy has been a media darling for us. He's been very accessible. He cares a lot about selling tickets. He cares a lot about his presentation. And just someone who does media, I really care about that. I care about people who really care about their fighting careers. And he looks in shape. His last fight, he looked great. He has a karate style. Is different than everybody else. It was interesting talking to him when we went. We actually went to lunch with him, and he was talking to Raymond. Raymond Martinez was there. And he was telling him, like, "Hey, man, that fight, man, I was so tired I couldn't lift my arms up."
Right.
But it kind of works with the karate stance, like everything that he was saying. I want to see him grow.
Yeah.
I want to see what he becomes. I think this is a great matchup. I think they're equally matched. And I want to see what that fight becomes.
Yeah, and like you said, big shout out to both camps. I mean, Cody and obviously Joseph for allowing us access to the fighters, you know, and caring, right, and caring about marketing themselves, which, you know, not as many people do, and more people should. So shout out to Cody Sessions and Joseph Claycomb for that. Should be a great fight. Fight number 4 on the card, Mr. Martinez, is Gabriel Silva making his return against Miguelito Serna. You know, obviously Kahlil, we all know he's the son of Anderson Silva, but he's only 2-0, and he's taken on a kid in Miguelito Serna who, you know, has shown tremendous power, has a wrestling base, at least shown tremendous power in the videos that I've seen of him training, and he's 1-1 in sort of pancration bouts, so I mean, he's just as experienced as young Silva. Obviously, he's coming into hostile territory. He's coming in from Las Vegas. And, you know, kind of wanted your thoughts on this fight. I mean, this is what I'm excited about, you know. I'm not giving none of these kids an easy fight. There's no exception for the Silva boys. They're earning their keep at FightersRep. And I'm excited about this one, man.
Man, let's be real quick. Gabriel Silva is probably one of our biggest prospects. He goes viral every time he fights. Mm-hmm. This is his 3rd fight with us. I guess he had a soccer career before he became a fighter.
Right.
He's considered by those who know, he's considered the bigger prospect. People think that he's more athletic, that he's more of a fighter. I think both Silva's kids are like the best thing going. I'm a big fan of both of these kids. He has that quick knockout, but then I thought against in his last fight that went 3 rounds, I thought that was a better fight for him.
Yeah,
I thought he showed his toughness. I thought what was his Melo Pamuk?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really get a chance to see him in that first fight because he landed that that crazy knockout.
I thought in that fight against Melo, and Melo brought the fight.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great fight. I thought that was a good test. That made me excited to see Kahlil again. I think Kahlil is the real deal. I'd like to see him. You know, you gotta build him up against fighters who are about the same range as him as a fight as far as experience. I want to see him develop because I think that kid's a real fighter. I can't wait to see what he becomes.
For sure.
He's gonna be. I'm gonna make a prediction right now. His fight, whatever happens in it, and I'm not saying anything negative about his opponent, Miguelito Serna. Maybe Serna gets the knockout.
Yeah.
But his fight will be the most viral. I'm making the.
You think so? Okay.
Prediction right now. 200,000 views on his fight.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, people do. Obviously, they want to know what happens with Anderson Silva's kids. So, It's definitely, usually a big fight when it comes to the kids. But definitely, I think it's a good matchup. It's an even matchup. Miguelito's almost 6 feet tall. Kahlil is just over 6 feet tall. They both have 2 fights under their belts respectively. And that's the best we could do to match these guys up evenly. And also, Miguelito training out of Hard Knocks Muay Thai out in Vegas. So, he's getting some good looks as well. Of course, Kahlil has Marcus Cowell listed as his coach, not only being trained by his father, but also at Systems Training Center. So 2 high-quality young amateurs ready to throw down.
What's their weight class, George?
They're going to be taking this bout at 150 pounds.
Man, 150. Just think of all the fighters that fight for FightersRep at around that weight.
Yeah, some great competition.
Man, there is some fire for that division.
Yeah, some great competition there.
I can't wait. If Gabriel Silva really develops, I mean, there are some fire fights for him. And Miguelito Serna, believe me, nobody knew who Vinny Famulari was until he knocked out Gabe Silva. He can make a name for himself the same exact way he can go viral. This is a big moment for Serna. I can't wait to see this fight.
Me neither, man. I mean, these are all these fights, Marco. I mean, that's why I invited you on here, man. I mean, all these fights are just mouth-watering fights, because we do our best to put the guys that are close as far as experience and potential. We do our best to match these guys up because I know it's going to build both guys up. So, I'm very excited about these fights. And that's no different with this next one, man. Christian Zoller at 170 pounds versus Quincy Holland. No gear. The gear comes off in this fight for both guys. Christian Zoller, as we saw, very tall, 6'2", fighting out of Vital Force, MMA and Muay Thai under Coach LeMans McCurry. He's going up against Quincy Holland, who we haven't seen in a long time after his knee surgery back in FightersRep 9 when he fought Matt Edwards. He's making a big comeback, and I'm hearing nothing but great stuff about Quincy Holland from Coach Rage. I'm hearing he's got next level elusiveness and speed, and he's very awkward. They're both very awkward, and I'm really excited about this fight, man. I'm telling you, this fight's going to be a special. Both these kids have a lot of potential.
Man, but Christian Zoller, he fought, if not the last fight, the second to last fight at the last FightersRep represent. And he was so relaxed when he went in there.
Yeah.
Like, his fight, I just felt like that guy could have been out on a beach having a Corona while he was fighting. He looked so, like, it was so natural for him to be in there. And he was relaxed, and he stopped his opponent. And he looked great. Yeah. His coach, LeMans McCurry, is a ref. One of the nicest dudes I ever met.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Really cool guy. I really like the way that he had his fighter trained. I really look forward to seeing this fight. Obviously, against a guy who's fighting from Rage's camp, that guy's not going to let him relax like that.
Right,
It's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
If there's one thing about anybody from Rage's camp, they're going to come and they're going to bring fire. Yeah. So, hey, maybe they might not win, but they're going to make sure that's an exciting fight. Rage does not bring boring opponents to the show.
For sure. No, I'm really excited about that fight, and I can't wait for it. Next one is we've got, at 123 pounds, guys that are a bit smaller, but don't underestimate them at all. We've got Phil Wang, who brought an absolute bloodbath his last time at FightersRep against Gustavo Flores, who just doesn't know how to be in a boring fight. We saw him against Fabian Hernandez at the last FightersRep, and man, I mean, these guys, again, 2 gyms, Blitz Muay Thai versus the Yard Muay Thai. These guys come for war, man. These guys come for blood, and I'm very excited about this fight.
Man, Gustavo Flores, you said it best, man. That guy comes to fight. That guy was so exciting when he fought Fabian. It was such a close fight. I forget who fought on that. I don't think it was the last card. I think it was 2 cards ago that they fought, and that would have been fight of the night. But there was one other fight that was really good.
It was Pacheco's fight. It was one of Pacheco's fights.
Pacheco fought that fight. Well, every time Pacheco fight.
Yeah, dude, Pacheco.
I can't get into Pacheco. Let's not talk about him. Gustavo Flores is fire. Like, the fans will not be bored during his fight. Don't go up and go get a beer at that time. Make sure you have your beer before then.
Right.
Don't go to the restroom. That guy brings the fight.
And same with Phil Wang. I don't know if you remember Phil Wang. Same.
His fight was exciting.
Same. So, and I mean, he didn't take a step back. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm telling you, Marco, this card, man. This card is something special, man.
Oh man, I just made the mistake of looking at the next fight.
Yeah, you did. And you know.
Before we go. Look, guys, all right, if you take anything away, Gustavo Flores is worth the price of admission by himself. All right, Phil Wang comes to fight. This is a fight that you're going to love. This could steal the card. A lot of these guys, they don't got the big names like Kahlil Silva or Gabe Silva. They are the exciting ones to go watch. You are going to enjoy it. Make sure you tune in. Instead of buying a hamburger special, go ahead and save your $9.99 and purchase your membership to the FightersRep channel and tune in, because this is a fight you can't miss. This is something you gotta watch.
And what a perfect segue into fight number 7. Your favorite prospect. 2 of my favorite prospects. I mean, 2 of my favorite prospects. I don't even know what to say about this fight. This fight makes me nervous. I'm nervous thinking about this fight. It's Cameron Spencer out of Hardworks Fitness dropping down 185 pounds to take on Joshua Caldwell, who's moving up from 170. These are 2 6-foot-plus absolute physical specimens / monsters. It's Hardworks Fitness versus Blackbeard Kickboxing, Coach Jason Caldwell. Kickboxing lineage coming from both sides. I mean, Cameron Spencer coming off a body shot knockout, the likes of which, I don't think we've ever seen something so, devastating as far as a shot to the body at FightersRep. I mean, I think of him and Gabe Basso's body shot. And, against Joshua Caldwell, who's coming off a big decision win against David Rivera. What was a great fight, but what was a fight where Joshua Caldwell showed that if he lands that left hand on somebody, he can just change the entire trajectory of the fight, which he did against David Rivera. Marco, this fight, I mean, so good for the development of both guys, but this is like putting literally the two best 185-pound prospects against each other and seeing what happens. That's what this is right here, brother.
All right, man. I'm going to try and stay controlled, and I'm trying to stay on topic. First off, let's start with Cam Spencer. He is my favorite prospect. That kid is a beast. My favorite thing about Cam Spencer, forget his in-ring fights, all right? Because his in-ring talent shows what he is. He's a power puncher. He has 2 knockouts in FightersRep. I've seen him fight a Muay Thai fight where he went the distance, but it was a different style. And I think in kickboxing, I think he's shown that he can really punish people without all that grabbing. Cam Spencer, my favorite thing about him is this guy takes his career serious, and like, you can't say that about every other fighter. I love some of these guys. You got a lot of fighters that fight for you, and a lot of fighters that fight in the UFC, and a lot of fighters that fight in boxing. They don't take their career as serious as Cam Spencer. Cam Spencer is available for every interview. Cam Spencer is available for every photo shoot. If I shoot Cam a message right now, I guarantee if I say, hey, Cam, can you come on for 5 minutes? Let me talk to you for a second. Let's hype the fight. Cam will answer that call. Cam cares about his career. I want to see that kid succeed, win or lose on Saturday night. I think that kid's going to be a superstar. He's built like a stud. He looks like he's going to win every fight by knockout. He's got muscles on muscles. His muscles have muscles.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to him, that kid's training. You watch him. Every time I go, he doesn't just stand there and do a quick interview. His interview skills, hey, he's learning. But that kid always shows, hey, let me get on the bag. Let me get let me hit some pads. They're ready to go. Him and Evan Bolton, he has the best mentor in Evan Bolton. His coach Hung is like an awesome coach because he's got the best camp. I love Cam Spencer.
I feel you.
Real quick,
I feel you.
Josh Caldwell. When I went to go see Josh Caldwell for the last show.
He's a monster, that guy. He's a monster.
Yeah, he had 5 guys. The coach at Blackbeard Boxing, I think he had 4 or 5 guys fighting on the card. He had quite a few, and I told you when I went, I said, "Man, hey, what it was a bunch of guys that were there. Wilson Haas showed up that day. Vinny Famulari showed up that day. Obviously, they have David Pacheco, Jesse Batista. They had another kid that was fighting.
Right.
I told you, I go, this kid, Joshua Caldwell, I didn't even know he was related to the coach. I go, this kid, he's built like a fighter, the same as Cam Spencer. He looks in shape, and that matters. It matters how serious you take your career. He looked in shape. He looked like a fighter. He was throwing punches. Everything that he threw looked like it was serious. Man, this fight.
I can't believe this fight, man. Yeah, this fight.
It gets me nervous, man. I don't want to pick. I think I want to give you a little bit of my insight. I think Joshua Caldwell is moving up 15 pounds. I think it's gonna give Cam the strength advantage. I think Caldwell is gonna have the athleticism advantage. We saw that against David Rivera. We saw that he can throw faster shots than David Rivera was ready for, and David Rivera is no one to laugh at. He looked really good against him.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this fight, man. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to see either guy lose because I think they're both great prospects. But this is what fighting is all about. This fight is the fight of the night for me.
Yeah.
And I love so many of these fights on this card. This is my fight of the night.
This is such a good fight, and I don't know what's going to happen either. I mean, I kind of disagree, though, with the athleticism thing. I think they're both ridiculous athletes. I think Cameron is more of a football build, whereas Joshua Caldwell looks like more of a basketball build. I'd say he's longer. I think his length combined with his speed gave David Rivera a lot of problems. I mean, who's a much smaller guy. David should, if we're being honest, be at 155, 160. And that's the next fight we're going to talk about. But and he's actually going down to 160, which is something I think he should have done. But this fight is just between Caldwell and Spencer is just, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen.
I got an honest question, George. How close were you to making this a 185 title fight?
I was very close. The thing is, I'm trying to raise the standards of the promotion. I don't want to give title fights anymore unless guys have at least 5 fights under their belt, at least a few fights for us. I feel like a lot of these promotions are giving out titles, just willy-nilly, and I'm not going to do that. They're going to mean something for us. So this fight was close. I would imagine the winner has the potential to eventually fight for one. But my goodness, what a fight this is going to be, Marco. I
think the winner is going to be the next champion. Right. I don't think maybe there's some. 185 is a fucking deep division. That's Conor Bracken's pro division.
Right. And listen, these are all.
We've seen how much talent in that division.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and these are all fights. These are all fights where win or lose, these guys are going to get better. These guys are going to get better, win or lose. That's why we're making these fights. I do think if these guys met up a few times, one might win one fight, one might win the other. That's why I love these fights. So I don't think the loser's got to hang his head about anything because this is a real fight between these two guys. And I want to shout out the camps, right? I want to shout out Blackbeard Kickboxing and Hardworks Fitness for not only being available for media, but for accepting a fight like this. Because one thing that makes me sick as a promoter is when guys want to protect their fighters, especially at the amateur level. That's not the place to tiptoe around and pad your record. These are two camps that are down to fight anyone within reason. And I love this fight. On to the next. We mentioned him in passing, and the last one it's David Rivera versus Ahmed Zidane, and this fight's at 160 pounds, closer to where I think David Rivera belongs. I think this is a fantastic fight because Zidane is training down in San Diego, I believe, out of the arena, and David Rivera, of course, with Tyler Wombles out of Classic Fight Team. We know he's a high-quality operator. Ahmed Zidane, a fantastic record of 4-1 as an amateur right now, with the height advantage over David Rivera. And again, coming from a fantastic camp. This is another toss-up. This is another very high-quality fight at 160 pounds, Marco.
Man, I am a David Rivera fan, and you know I wasn't before. I have no shame in saying before I wasn't sold on him. I remember his big thing was he didn't want to wear headgear. He used to pop on in your chats and talk about how he didn't want to wear headgear, and I just didn't think he was taking his career seriously. And then even in his loss to Joshua Caldwell, tell you the truth, that's when I became a huge fan of him because I thought he looked great in that fight. I thought Caldwell just caught him with a couple good shots. I think David Rivera in his natural weight class will be fire, and I think he's a fun fighter to watch. I'm a big fan of him now, and he made me a fan by watching him fight. That's what's important. Ahmed Zidane. I know he's a short notice kind of replacement, and that's important too. It's important for someone to stand up and take a fight on short notice.
Yeah.
It's important, especially if you take your career seriously, and that's really what I'm into. I'm into guys who take their career seriously, who want to fight, who want to step up. They're not afraid to take a big challenge. If you know anything about Team Classic, they got T.J. Dillashaw. They have Kay Hansen. They have multiple fighters that fight for them.
Yeah.
That are
excellent.
Are pros. And so to step up and say, hey, I'm gonna take on one of their guys, that's a big thing, man. I really look. I like that in a fighter. I'm looking forward to this fight. May the best man win. I can't wait to see these two go at it.
For sure. And as I said, Zidane out of the arena, I believe. So that's also a very, very high level gym fight I'm excited about. Next, we go into our first title fight of the evening. It's for the FightersRep California State Heavyweight title. It's Edgar Barbary, a guy you're very familiar with, taking on a kid I'm very excited about as well, and Amal Rasuli, coming down from Elk Grove Muay Thai, taking the trip down here into hostile territory. He's 4-0. He's trying to stay undefeated against Edgar, who's 5-2 in striking, who's also got 8 MMA fights. And again, Edgar Barbary will be at a height disadvantage, but that's never stopped him before. Marco, Edgar Barbary doesn't know how to be in a boring fight, brother.
Man, so I go back with you to FightersRep 2. All right, I've been with you since we were MMA in the beginning. I did it as media back then. I did the media for FightersRep 2, 3, and 4. At FightersRep 4, Edgar Barbary was the headliner. He fought, help me out with the kid's name. I forgot the kid he fought.
Arpahan.
Daniel Arpahan. Yeah. It was Barbary and Arpahan, and that was fight of the night.
For a state title.
And I remember the biggest thing, Arpahan ended up winning that fight. But the biggest thing for me was those two, they went at it like it was a slugfest. It was back and forth. Edgar's face never changed. He had complete composure, and the way he lost was Arpahan actually got on top of him and was able to stop him. So to me, that didn't show what kind of striker Edgar was. In the striking category, he looked great.
Yeah,
that was a back and forth war. His second fight with FightersRep, I believe he lost a decision. I could be wrong. I think that was at FightersRep 5.
He lost a decision to Lou Schwenke, who's an undefeated pro right now, and was undefeated as an amateur as well.
Yeah, that was an okay fight too, but man, he came back and he fought the Nigerian fellow.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, stopped him with a body shot. He stopped him with a body shot.
Go back and watch that fight, guys. Type in Edgar Barbary FightersRep. He fights a Nigerian fellow. Forgive me, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was he was a big dude. He wasn't a little dude.
Yeah.
Edgar's technique looked so great in that fight. It was high, low, changing levels, kicking him in the legs and then hitting him with a punch, and then he'd hit him in the head and hit him with a body shot. I mean,
yeah, he looked really good. He looked really good in that fight. He looked really good in that.
If you want to check out, he has a YouTube channel. He's a great personality on YouTube. I'm a big fan of Edgar. I always want to see him succeed. I'm a big Edgar fan. His opponent, I'll be honest, man, I haven't watched him. But I know he's coming from Northern California. I'm a Southern California guy. So I'm hoping for Edgar to pull it out.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased because I really like Edgar. But that's not to say nothing negative about his opponent. Obviously, if you chose him, you know that he can fight.
Oh yeah,
he's a much taller guy. Correct me if
yeah,
I'm
he's
wrong.
6'3". I mean, to Edgar's like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah,
So it's going to be a very
it's
good
gonna
fight.
be a good matchup. Always good to have that difference of height. It doesn't mean nothing. Both guys got to show that they can punch and kick.
That's right.
Man, I can't wait for this fight.
It's going to be a great one, man. And heavyweights, who doesn't love heavyweights?
Exactly.
So that takes us to the co-main event of the evening, which is Gabe Silva defending his FightersRep Southern California middleweight title against a very tough, coming out of Premier Striking down in San Diego, coached by Zach Shepard, Evan Wang. And Evan caught my eye when his coach sent me a video of him on Instagram fighting a Muay Thai bout. Excuse me. Where, even in a loss, he just looked really good. They have very, almost identical records. Silva being, I believe, 5-1, whereas Evan Wang is 4-1. And both coming off a loss. I believe Evan has picked up one win since then, though. So, he may have gotten one win since after that loss. But what's interesting about this bout is, besides them both being about the same height, having about the same record, both being very good, it's interesting to see how Gabe Silva will come back after that, that loss he had against Vinny Famolari. I think that the knockout he suffered at Famolari looked worse than it actually was. I mean, it was a bad knockout, but I felt like he was trying to get up at the end of the fight. So I'm interested to see, how he's recovered. I'm interested to see what it's done to his confidence, because even though it was a devastating loss, being as it was for the West Coast title, he actually texted me afterwards and told me I needed that. He was very introspective, and that's something you would expect from one of the children of the greatest martial artists of all time, and that's why I'm very interested to see what happens in this very, very evenly matched fight.
All right. Here's my take. Now, I'll start off by saying I haven't watched Evan Wang fight, so I look forward to seeing him fight. I always like to see who you match people up with. You know a lot more strikers than I do, but and I've never seen you mismatch a fight. So I look forward to seeing Evan Wang come and compete. But I want to talk about Gabe Silva for a second. All right. A lot of people on the internet, when Gabe Silva got knocked out, his knockout went viral, and everyone was talking about how, he's Anderson Silva's kid and he got hyped up. You guys don't know shit. Gabe Silva is a real deal. He fought for us
100%,
now.
100%.
This is going to be his fourth fight. All right?
100%.
I've watched him when he fought his first fight. He fought the young Russian gentleman. That was a very close fight. That was his first fight for us. That was a great fight. And then he went and fought the kid from King's MMA. And he looked like a totally different fighter. I know in between, he fought a fight for another organization. So he has more experience. In that fight. He looked great in that fight. Vinny Famolari, who I'm a fan of, caught him with the spinning back fist that he didn't see coming. I would like to see all these talking heads on the internet, everybody who's a little Twitter egg. I want to see them get caught with a spinning back fist from Vinny Famolari that they don't see coming because he didn't see coming.
Right.
And I want to see how they act because one thing that Gabe Silva didn't do is he didn't quit when he got rocked.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
He came right back out, and it was to his detriment. I'll tell you what. One thing I hope Gabe Silva learned is that you don't have to. You got to sometimes kind of grab and hold just to try to shake the cobwebs off. I hope he learns that for the future. But other than that, that guy's all heart. That guy's not some sucky fighter.
No.
This guy is a guy who is technically skilled. He's very good. All right. So all these people who had all this negativity when they were happy. There's this group of people who love to watch people lose.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. Hey, I watched Gabe Silva when he started, and I watched his second fight, and his second fight was better than his first fight by miles.
Yeah.
He got caught. That's all.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
I want to see his third fight. I want to see more of him. I think Gabe Silva is a real deal. I just want to keep seeing him grow. And these people that just take joy in people losing, they're losers themselves.
Yeah.
They've never accomplished anything.
I agree.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I got frustrated because it was a viral knockout, and there was a lot of viral videos from people, and it was just kind of like, oh yeah, look at instead of saying, hey, this guy Vinny Familari caught him with the great shot, it was like, yeah, he's a son of a legend. He'll never be the dude. This kid is a young kid. He's only got 4 MMA fights or 4 kickboxing fights. I can't wait to see him develop, man. This is a fight that means a lot to him. If he comes out and looks great again, he's right back on track. Nobody's going to care when he's a pro and he's got 10 fights, how he did in his amateur career,
right?
About getting knocked out and getting caught. This is all just a learning experience.
Right, and I think it'll be a valuable lesson for him, and I agree with you, man. It's been great watching him develop. The difference between the first time he fought for us and the second time was ridiculous. It was crazy. I was like, who is this kid? Like, how is he the same kid? So, I look forward to seeing him fight. And Evan Wang, same thing. I mean, I believe he picked up a title in his last fight after taking a loss before that. But he just looks like a very tough, scrappy kid, man. So I'm really excited about this fight. I don't think either one of these kids has any sort of give up in them. So it's going to be a fantastic fight, man. That brings us to the main event of the evening, man. The pro bout, Anthony McNutt taking on Julio Rios, man. McNutt, going pro. This is his pro debut, taking on a 1-1 Julio Rios, who's, one of those wins was against John Garcia, the caveman, a guy who we had on at FightersRep 9. A guy's an absolute beast. So I'm very excited about this fight, man. And Anthony McNutt's coming down from George Susui's gym up north, coming into hostile territory to take on Julio Rios.
Yeah, I invite people to check out the FightersRep YouTube channel. Anthony McNutt, we got a video of him that you posted a couple weeks ago. It gives you a little highlight of who he is. I'm excited to see him fight. Just from that video clip, he seems like he's young and hungry. He says he's been fighting for 10 years, and now his pro debut. That's an important moment in a fighter's career. I can't wait to see him in there. Julio Rios, if you beat John Garcia, I mean, go back and watch FightersRep 9. John Garcia can put up a show. Like, that kid is a fighter, and to have a win over him matters.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this fight. This is our pro fight on the card. And it's 2 guys that I think are going to bring the action. I predict an all-action fight in this card on this fight.
I agree, man. I can't wait for this main event. This is a big main event. And then we have the post limbs immediately after that. Marco, we've got Michael Gutierrez taking on Lion Fernandez. These are 2 prospects I'm really excited about. Michael's actually owner of a gym. I think it's called Gfit Kickboxing. He's had 1 fight way back. He's getting back into it, but looks like a very, very capable guy. I mean, he's definitely worked on his technique a lot. He teaches people at his gym. And then you also have Lion Fernandez, a kid, a Cuban kid that I'm very interested in. We all know, the Cuban school of boxing and fighting is very developed, very underrated. I look forward to seeing him, especially considering that, his coach is Jason Park, and he's spending a lot of time training at Boxing Works. With a guy who's basically legendary out there. You know what I mean? So in Brian Popejoy. So I love this fight, man. 2 young, 2 beginners basically. With Lion Fernandez, this being his debut fight, but guys that are training hard, is my understanding, have a lot of experience in the gym and are looking to showcase at FightersRep 13.
Man. Postlands are some of the best fights. We got almost all the best fighters start as Postlands. Edgar Zaragoza started his career. Right.
Cam Spencer. Right.
People go home as soon as the main event happens, and they
don't go home. Don't go home.
I wouldn't walk away, man. Like, look at guys like Edgar Zaragoza. He's a can't miss fighter now, and Cam Spencer's a can't miss fighter.
Yeah. Don't go home. Then we have Brady Barrett versus Kai Nelson. We haven't worked with Brady before, but he's out of Marcos Bonilla's gym. They've made a huge splash. That's Melvin Guerra's team. That's the same kid who got the knockout at the last event. as well on the post limbs. His name escapes me now, but he's Melvin Guerra's teammate, and it's
Melvin Guerra had a great fight.
Right, and it's Marcos Bonilla's team. Marcos Bonilla is a pro fighter, so it's Matador Fitness. So I really look forward to watching him fight against Kai Nelson, a kid who I'm also very excited about, a camp that I'm also very excited about because Kai is training with Gabriel Shaibi, who is basically one of the trainers, I believe, at the Redondo Beach Black House location, and is a guy, Marco, who's not only a professional fighter himself, but has I want to say 50 to 60 pro fights and a real winning record in those fights. So he's an exceptional coach, and I can't wait to see what he produces with this young buck Kai Nelson versus Brady Barrett. We've also got Jason Granado out of Cody Sessions Muay Thai as well, his Squirrel Muay Thai as well, taking on Mateo Ruiz, who's also out of Jabril Shaibi's tutelage in Black House Redondo Beach, I believe it is. And then finally, we've got Shannon Hill versus Steve Fernandez at the end of the card. Two guys I'm very excited about because Shannon I've actually sparred a very little bit with when I was working out in CMMA. These are smaller guys that are 130 pounds, but Shannon, very quick, very athletic, kid that's really grown in the gym at CMMA, a guy who Chad George, was kind of reluctant about at first, but a guy who's, kind of changed Chad George's mind, and that's not an easy mind to change. And he's going to be taking on Steve Fernandez out of Buena Park, Martial Arts Academy, an absolutely fantastic gym. We all know it's Coach Channerith Pott, Coach Matt Johnson, and if you're learning from those guys, then you're going to be a great fighter. So I'm really excited about these pro slims.
Real quick, just a couple notes real quick. First, if he's coming out of Chad George's gym, he's going to be a great fighter. Yeah. Chad George is like Coach Rage, always brings great fights.
100%.
I don't know a Chad George a trained student who came out and had a bad fight. I look forward to it. Chad's one of my favorite coaches to watch coach. He's one of my favorite coaches to photograph. I'm a big fan of all of Chad George's fighters. I want to talk about Jason Granado real quick. He was there with Cody Sessions when I went. That young kid looks like he's ready to fight. I just wanted to bring that up because attitudes matter, and he had a fighter's attitude. Just running the treadmill, that kid, he looked hyped. He was running the treadmill, and he flexed for the camera, and that matters. That just showed me that man, this kid really he's hyped. He's ready to fight. He's ready to show his stuff. I'm really looking forward to his fight. I'm really looking for him and Juan Banda. They're going to represent Cody Sessions. I cannot wait to see that fight. Those are two post-limb fights. I like I say, do not leave early. These are great fights.
Absolutely, Marco, man. If you guys haven't already, be sure, to get your tickets at FightersRep.com. Come out. It's this Saturday at the Commerce Casino. Doors open at 5. Fights start at 6. You're not going to want to miss it. If you can't make it for whatever reason, you can join the YouTube channel right here or on FightersRep.com. It's just $9.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. You're not going to want to miss this. By joining the channel, by buying a ticket, you're just supporting us and continuing to build this brand and a venue for these young fighters to compete in. And these are the best strikers you're going to see, man. And this is the most pure form of striking you guys are going to see. You guys are going to absolutely love it if you come out. Marco. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Marco, really appreciate your time on this, man. We've been at this almost 50 minutes now, so I really appreciate you for doing this with me, man. I'm very excited to see you on Saturday, brother.
Can't wait for Saturday, George. Can't wait to see you
there. For sure, Knuckleheads. Well, we're signing out. We look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday night. Take care. Thank you, Marco. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, sir.